This is a special hello to all the silly squadders taking part in the Summer Reading Challenge. I'm really happy that one of my Owl's Awesome Science books is in it, and this time it's Busybodies by me, Jane Clarke, illustrated by James Brown. And in it, we meet again from various other books, the Boffin family, including the science-mad Al and his twin sister Lottie and his dog Einstein, and those very picky neighbours, the Goods. Now, in this particular book, which is in the Summer Reading Challenge, Al is doing experiments to find out how the human body might react. So there are some experiments you like to do. I'll be doing some now and reading a little bit about the book. So let's just start off with the book. Al Boffin stretched out his arms and he started to spin around as fast as he could. He was close to finishing his new experiment. How many spins could he do and still walk in a straight line? He counted 1, 2, 3, 4. His dog Einstein gave an excited woof and began to chase his tail round and round in circles. 5, 6, Al stopped spinning. He tried to put one foot on the straight line he had chalked across the floored tiles to the back door. It was already very smudged. Ugh, he groaned. He staggered into the fridge, dislodging a fridge magnet. His dental checkup reminder card fell to the floor and disappeared beneath it. Einstein's legs skidded under him as he came to a halt. Al sat on the floor until he felt less dizzy. Then he brushed chalk off his shorts, took out his notebook and recorded his results. "What are you two up to?" Al's sister Lottie poked her head around the kitchen door and elbowed her way in. She was using both hands to carefully carry a glass tumbler with a postcard balance on top of it. "I think Einstein's been trying to catch his tail," Al told her, "but I'm experimenting to find out what happens if you step out of a time machine when it's been in a spin." So he's spinning round and round and he's seeing how many he can do before he falls over. Give it a try, see how many you can do. And when you've given it a try, lie flat and look up at the ceiling and see if it whirls round around you. Because what's happening is that you have in your inner ear liquid which is going round and round and round as you spin. So you can show this by, if you've got a bottle, this is actually, well, what is it? It's for medicated relief for throat and mouth infections. So it's nice bright pink. Make it go round and round and round for a bit and you'll see that even when you stop spinning, it will still spin round and round. So you can do that in a cup or a glass if you're outside or you don't mind splashing it. I've done it with something that has a lid on it, and so the liquid in your ear continues to spin and go round and round even when you stop. And of course, your ears and your balance mechanism connected to your brain, connected to your eyes, and so it sometimes gives your eyes the wrong message. Now, you can do various experiments with eyes to see also how your sight might be affected if you went on a time machine. And Al does various ones of these. They are at this point being babysat by Mr. and Mrs. Good. So they're doing one or two sort of clean experiments that aren't going to take an awful lot of mess. Now, one of them, to prove that you have a blind spot and might not see that alien coming, is take a bit of paper, draw a cross on one side, put a dot on the other, and then what you do is, well, you look at the cross, so put it close to your nose, and you probably can't see the dot at that point, but you move it out and you'll become aware, if you do it very slowly, that there is a point where, for me it's about here, where you can't actually see the dot, and that is your blind spot. and it's to do with where the optic nerve joins onto your brain. So have a go at that, see what you can do. You can also show that your eyes will sometimes trick you. Here's a nice little one. If you draw a goldfish bowl and a little green fish and really stare hard at that little green fish for a while, you'll begin to see an almost halo of colours come around the green fish. And then if you move your eyes into the bowl, you can move a fish into the bowl, only it will be the opposite colour on the spectrum to the colour that you've drawn your fish. Green's a good one. I sort of get, from this green, I sort of get an almost purple that goes in there. But give it a try and try different colours and see if you can trick your eyes and get this ghosting, which is the image retained on your retina after you stared at something. You can probably think of all sorts of other circumstances as well when that happens. The other thing that is quite useful, and not everybody has this, not everybody can see in perspective to work out how far away things are. You can use two pencils or you can just use your fingers. If you use your two eyes, you'll be able to join them together. If you close one eye, it actually becomes really rather difficult to work it out. Two eyes are definitely better than one. And if you're like me and a bit clumsy, and here's something I only discovered when I was researching Al's Awesome Science, try this experiment. Look at something with your arms out like this and look through the hole. Now close one eye and then close the other. You're looking at something a decent distance away, like a car out of the window, for example. So do that, close one eye, close the other, and you may notice that when you close one eye, the image that you're looking at, the car, will jump completely out of the way. Now your best eye is the one where the car, or whatever you're looking at, stays in the middle. And your worst eye is the opposite one. And if you're mismatched like me, so your left eye is your really good eye, but you're right-handed, that apparently does account for some of our clumsiness. It may account for some of Al's clumsiness because he is based on my son, who is also rather clumsy. So give that one a try as well. Al is going on a time machine, he hopes, which he's tried to invent, and he is also a little bit concerned that when you spin around the sun you might feel a bit sort of sicky. Now Lot is really good about knowing about the human body and things, and she tells Al an experiment he can do about sick. But Al, before we do that one, or I tell you about that one, because as you can see, I'm in my living room, I'm going to tell you about the other experiment Al does, which is when he's trying to decide what food he might want to take with him that's got plenty of nutrition and minerals and vitamins in it. And they experiment with cornflakes. You will need a bag. You need some cornflakes. You put the cornflakes in the bag if you want to have a big bag, and then you bash it. Needless to say, Al does a lot of cornflakes and a lot of bashing, but bash it up into smithereens. I'm not going to show you that because I'm sure you can imagine it. And then you will need a magnet. The only magnets I have in my house are fridge magnets, but here they will do quite well. It won't work until you've bashed it up, but once you've bashed it up, you can stick a magnet on your cornflakes. You will see that you get little tiny bits of iron will stick to your magnet, thus proving that a lot of our cornflakes are fortified with iron. You will actually see it. You can then chuck out your cornflakes to the birds if you don't want to eat them, or you can add them to the experiment on the sick, which is you put a couple, Lottie uses 4 slices of bread and some orange juice, and about a cupful of orange juice, pour it in, tie it up, put it somewhere. If if you put it somewhere warm, if this experiment will be quicker than if you put it somewhere cold, because the acid in the orange juice will be like your digestive juices, and it will work on the bread. It will all get squishy, 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 and as it begins to digest it, and your bag will puff up. Because gases are released. And I needn't tell you that when gases are released in our own tummies, we either burp or we fart. And that's how it is. But if you have it in a bag, the bag may burst. So have the bag in the sink or outside or somewhere where it doesn't really matter when it bursts. If you want to, when it's puffed up, if you want to show how you might be sick, then just stamp on the bag and it will go and then it will go everywhere. Now, needless to say, a lot of these experiments in the Owl's book do cause an awful lot of problems. You will find that there are notebook pages in the Owl's book which tell you how to do them. There are all sorts of experiments that I haven't mentioned in these books that are fun. That one involved actually bashing some rice and having that ping everywhere. So there's plenty of opportunity for silliness, but also for science. And I hope you don't make quite as much mess as Owl. So Mum has been out, the goods have been babysitting. I'm back, Mum called. The door to the living room clicked open. Where is everyone? There was a pause. Why are there cornflakes all over the living room? Lottie began, but Mum already had a foot on the stairs. Why does it look as if it's rained up the staircase? She asked, following the drips up the stairs. She opened the door in the bedroom. What happened here? Mum gasped. Has we been burgled? What have you done with Mr. and Mrs. Good? Well, you will need to borrow a book, get a book, read it, and find out. And I hope you have lots of fun being silly, silly squad. And thank you for taking part in the summer reading challenge.